Hey man, I wake up. It's a crazy damn day. So I wake up today, and I'm doing my little daily Saturday thing, man. Actually, I was just about to go make me a smoothie, and I came across my feed that DMX is in a vegetative state in the hospital, suffered a heart attack from a drug overdose. Now, we all know that DMX has been battling and struggling with drug addiction since I can remember, man. They don't call him Dark Man X for no reason. A lot of these younger cats don't know who DMX is. I got some cousins who, hell, my daughter don't even really know who DMX is. So, I feel sometimes like an old guy. But for those of us who know who X is, man, it was one of the best, man. He's a gladiator, right? Me coming up when I first got into hip hop, I can remember when it used to be Run DMC and Big Daddy Kane and Cool Mo D type, right? You had who else? You had Humpty. You had that type of flavor of music. And then I remember when the 90s hit, then you had Biggie Pac, and then, of course, Jay-Z and X and all them hit. And we moved from that dance, my Adidas type boombox rap to that thuggish, that thug rap, right? We, the gangster rap era. And DMX is probably that first genre group of hip hop rappers that was in that gangster rap era when the music shifted, right? Because the music shifted from actually before the crack epidemic and the communities got ravished. It was more of a light-hearted, fun place to be, right, in society. But after the drugs hit, that of course the government brung over. About a decade later, right, the 80s when the 90s hit, about a decade or so later, decade and a half later, that's when that gangster rap hit. It was a reflection of actually what was going on in our communities in the hood I'm from, right? I'm from New York. I'm from Bronx, right? I'm from 138th Street, Willis Ave. And I remember hearing X's first album, Hell is Hot. I remember hearing it for the first time, man. And that's probably what really, X probably, besides Pac and Biggie, I would say X was one of my favorite rappers when I was young. Right? Of course, you had Pac and Biggie, but everybody liked Pac and Biggie. When X hit, that little raspy voice and that dark man flavor he brung, man, he probably turned into one of my favorite. He turned into my favorite rapper in that time period, right? It was X, it was Pac, and it was of course Biggie. But you couldn't mention if you was gonna talk about who was the best rappers back then when X first. I mean, when X Hell is Hot dropped, when that first album dropped, man, it wasn't nothing like it. Point blank. Period. It's one of the best albums ever assembled by an artist, hip hop artist. So, to see that X is all these years later still going through those fighting those demons, man. And it seems like he might have succumbed to the demons. It's just a hard thing to take, man. Right. So I might my prayers and my blessings go out to him and his family, man. I hope he pulls through. But it says DMX has been hospitalized after suffering a drug overdose at his home on Friday. The rapper is reported to be in critical care and is now in a vegetative state. Some sources have described him as having some brain activity, TMZ reports. So there are different reports coming out, right? There's some saying that he's in the vegetative state and basically is not looking good. And then you have other reports coming out saying that there is some brain activity. So even though he's in a coma in a vegetative state, his brain is still active. If he got brain activity, man, I pray that he does, man. That's a great thing. I remember when my pops passed away, man, one of the indications was he had no brain activity, right? He went and slipped into a coma. And after about 5 days or so, he succumbed and his brain activity died. And once that go, man, it's pretty much a wrap. So I'm hoping that the reports that he still has some brain activity, that's some good news. And I'm hoping that's true. It says the 50-year-old reportedly OD'd at 11 p.m. and was rushed to the hospital in White Plains, New York. The star, one of the biggest rappers in the 90s, is known to have battled with substance abuse over the years. So like I say, man, he's 50 years old. So everybody who knows anything about DMX knows pretty much about his drug problem, right? But he also became a minister, right? You had Minister X. So it's just like what we all go through, man. Just because you're a superstar or, we think a lot of times that celebrities are not human beings, right? So just because you a superstar doesn't mean that you're not gonna go through the normal, regular, everyday problems, stuff that we all could relate to, whether it's in our own lives or whether it's somebody close to us, whether it's family, some of our family that we may have. Right? He's just a regular. At the end of the day, he's a human being, and you can see through his music his battle, right, with dark and with dark and the light, with the evil and the good. Right? He had those songs, Damien, where the devil's coming at him, and then he had the prayer songs where he's trying to look for God, and you can literally see his battle between the darkness and the light in his music, right? He's one of the best, he's probably the best artist at encapsulating that, the battles that we face, the trials and tribulations. There's probably no other artist that was as good as DMX to capture the essence of that struggle that we all go through internally, right? That struggle, that battle of good and evil. And it's a life battle. It don't have to be drug abuse or substance abuse. It could be whatever we're going through individually, you and me, right? We all have our battles. We all have our demons. We all have our struggles. And X encapsulated that in a human being. And he encapsulated that in his music, unlike no other, bar none. Yeah, we losing so many greats this just recently, man. You know, you had Fred the Godson, you had Dooms, you had a lot of people, man. Scarface was battling something, COVID, I think, and he pulled through, but you just this year of COVID has kind of brung to reality the humanness of everybody. Like, we're all vulnerable, even those who we look at as heroes or superstars or the greats, right? We're all human. We all have our vulnerabilities, man. And this year, more than others, has kind of brought that to the forefront. I know X been through a lot in his life, man. They say if you can make it in New York, baby, you can make it anywhere, right? So for him to have transitioned from his background, his past, you know, being homeless, being on the street, not really having a father figure there, being caught up right around the time that crack epidemic hit, the drug war, being able to sift his way through the drug war and not get life in prison and wrapped up in all that. And just to have come so far, to have a wife, his beautiful children, but he couldn't get away from that demon, that monkey that was on his back that he carried through his whole life, right? That demon, sometimes those demons don't never go away. That's why I'm always diligent and trying to focus and trying to stay mindful and aware, because those demons, you may think you have conquered something, but they just laying right under the surface, right? And they're just waiting for that moment where they can resurface and expose themselves. And you always have to be mindful and careful of that. But right now, we're gonna give a moment of silence. Let's give a moment of silence for DMX, man, and his family. All right, yeah, man. So, you know, I said a quick prayer for the X family, man. I'm gonna be praying throughout the day for X. Like, without ever knowing him, I never met him, but I've seen him in performance, right? I've seen him live back in like '98 at a summer jam. This is back when the summer jams was going on up top. And I remember going to the summer jam, and it was one of my first hip hop concerts that I have ever been to. And he was there. I think Jigga came out. Ja Rule was there. And that energy, man, when X come on the stage, B, is nothing like it, man. Right? Jay-Z, those type of great rappers, they don't possess that energy that X possess, right? When X come on the stage and that music drop, the hell is hot, doom. It's just a whole different level of I don't know, man. His life force was strong, man. Right. When he was at his peak, he had a very robust life force, right? That energy he brung was second to none. DMX.